Welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys, welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Your host, Mike Slane, joined with co-host David Dodge. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks for asking.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Looked at a house this morning.
Sweet. Any
Made
good?
An offer on it.
Any good?
Offer was lower than they liked.
Perfect.
That's just the way it should be.
That's the way we like to make offers, guys. All right, so Discount Property Investor. This podcast, we primarily talk about wholesaling real estate. And today we're going to go a little off topic, not quite off topic. We're still talking real estate, but we're going to talk about transitioning from being a wholesaler to climbing up that real estate investing ladder.
Ooh, I like this topic.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about buying rental properties or how we fund our purchases of rental properties or rehabs. So again, it's how you fund and purchase your rehabs or rentals when you're ready to make that next step. Because, Dave, and you say this very well, you talk about wholesaling is a really good way to make big chunks of money, but it's still a job.
It's a job.
High-paying job, relatively easy job, or relatively simple, not necessarily easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still
not easy.
But
I love that.
I think I said easy it becomes easier the more you know. But again, and it's a high-paying job, but it's still a job and you don't necessarily want to do that. So I think, both fell in love with real estate because of the passive income that you could generate from it. And that comes to you through rental real estate. So one of our big things in our company for the past year or so was, hey, let's chase after some rental properties and let's try to do it without using really our money, without investing our company's money, because we like those high paychecks we make from wholesaling.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's keep wholesaling.
I'll probably never stop wholesaling. Let's be clear, but it is a job.
I don't mean to say it like that either.
Right.
Because again, we have this set up as a business, so yeah, we all have different roles in that business, and we want to keep doing what we're doing. We enjoy doing it, so why not? So let's talk about how you fund a rental. Okay, so let's say you don't have bankable
credit.
Let's
back up real quick.
Sure,
go
go
for
for
a second. When you first start, you're probably wholesaling. You have no money.
Mm-hmm.
So you are telling people, hey, I'm a cash buyer because you have your investor partners funds, or you may even have a transactional funder or a hard money lender. That's how you start, right? Once you do some deals, then you may have your own money, or you may build some relationships with some private lenders who will lend you. But typically, as a wholesaler, you're not dealing with banks.
Right.
All right. So that's really where you start. But then, once you start making money or you start building contacts that have money, you want to get out of the wholesale space. But guess what? You are already doing it and you're finding home run deals. So now you can say, hey, I'm going to cherry pick some of the best deals and I'm going to rehab these if I feel like it, or I'm going to keep them as rentals. And that's really where I'm going to transition back to where you're at.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. And it's if you have the credit ability to refinance, because again, when you're using Brrrr, you want to make sure that you could actually get that long-term finance.
Absolutely.
So we do a whole series, or we've had a series of podcasts about that, so you can go back and listen to some of those. And we also have
how red I got.
A book coming out that talks about it. Why are you so red, man?
I mean, I laid out and got burnt yesterday. I'm like fried. My wife was giving me shit this morning.
That's pretty funny.
Off topic.
Pretty funny. Yeah, so you may be bankable, you may not. So you want to find that out. If you are bankable, then yeah, let's go hard after doing some rentals. Let's try to rehab something to do a rental. It's gonna increase your ability as a wholesaler too, because you're gonna learn. Oh man, I was estimating rehab costs a little bit low every time. Because a lot of wholesalers, we get that flack. Or you're going to say, man, people are crazy. I can do this for half of that. Like, what are they doing? So, again, you're going to learn more about real estate by doing a little bit more of it. Very, very cool stuff. There's two ways that we fund most of our rentals. We started out using one of our partners, and you can go check that out at dpipodcast.com. Or no, dpipodcast
TPIpodcast.com/funding. Let me help you.
Thank you.
I get confused too.
Yeah, well, and so that's off topic, personal topic. I don't know if I had a seizure or a stroke, like a little mini stroke, but I'm just like a step off. I'm not quite.
You look good.
I'm not. Yeah, I feel fine. It's just every once in a while when I start thinking about things, I'm not as quick to shift back gears.
Pull the information.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully that goes away. A little brain fog, I guess they call it. Yeah, it's not good, but I feel fine.
You look good.
Yeah, I feel fine. So who cares? Keep living carefree.
That's right.
All right, back on topic. We're talking about wholesaling. Check out the URL Dave just dropped because I'll screw it up again. And yeah, you can learn who we're using there. We used like a Fund and Grow group. So click them, or you can learn the entire thing in a course we put together a long time ago. It was called
Savvy Leverage.
Savvy Leverage.
We brought in a good buddy of ours.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson, and I need to contact him. It's been a while.
Yeah,
since
we
I've
should
talked
reach
to him.
out. I think he stopped by a little while ago. We should talk to him again.
But we put together a great course, and it actually talks about how you can go out and approach other individuals that have money, and you can turn them into private lenders.
Simplest terms.
We have some agreements in there that we use with our own private lenders, and we're happy to share that with you guys. And Nick has.
They do something even cooler. They like not syndicate.
They have PPM.
PPM. There you go.
Yeah, personal. I can't even think of what
Offering
it is.
memorandum.
Something like that. But basically, you can put together your own fund legally and get people's money to pool together for bigger projects. And man, it's just been so long since I put that course together. I'm forgetting.
I know it's been over a year.
All the terminology. We have private lenders, and that's what we use.
That's what I was going to try to bring it back to.
Talk about that. We teach that in the course as well. But if you wanted to take it to the next step and put together a big fund, we teach that as well too. So yes, Savvy Leverage is the name of that course, and you know what? We're going to give that away for free.
Sweet.
On the website. So go to dpipodcast.com/funding, and you can get access to that free course on putting together private funds from a private lender, all the documents that you might need, and just basically the process, what you do when you approach them, and how you present and how you pitch them being a private lender to you with it being backed by the real estate, all kinds of good stuff. So guys, check it out, free course. It's called Savvy Leverage. I did it with my good buddy, and you can find it at dpipodcast.com/.
Yeah, it's very cool. You don't necessarily need to combine money and all that. The simplest terms is you approach private individuals, and you don't have to think of a private lender. Just think of someone you might know who might have money to lend, someone you might know who might want to make a higher return than they can get in the stock market right now, someone you might know who would be willing to help you get started in buying rental properties, or and again, that's maybe family members, maybe good friends, maybe whatever. And it's just really gathering up enough confidence in yourself and your ability to do this business to approach them and say, hey, I would like to borrow money. Or, hey, here's what I'm doing. I am buying properties. I'm fixing them up. I'm refinancing them. And then I'm paying individuals like you money, a decent return, 10%, 12%.
Yeah, even 14%, 15%. I had a guy the other day, one of our students, Mike, he reached out and he said, what about, paying 14 or 15%? Like, that just seems so crazy. And my response to him is yeah, I think you were on the call, actually. My response to him is, yeah, that might seem crazy if it's a 30-year loan. But typically you're borrowing money for anywhere from 2 to 6 months. So it's not like you are locking in at this crazy high rate. Now, why would these lenders charge a high rate? Let's put ourselves in their shoes for a minute. It's because there is some risk involved. And they also know that this is a short-term loan. So they're going to need to make more money on this short term than they would if they lent it out at a longer term, because then they're going to get it back and they're going to have to redeploy it. There's a lot of work involved in them underwriting you and or the property, which, by the way, can be very helpful to you to help you do your own due diligence. Does your lender like the deal? Well, if they don't like the deal, then maybe it's not a deal, right? So they can actually help you and doing some due diligence and figuring out if it's a deal.
In my comment, whenever someone says, and I'm not even trying to sell private lenders or sell the fact that you're going to be paying more money, My comment or just thoughts on that in general are, yeah, but what would you have made without paying that 14%?
Yeah, but then,
Nothing.
Yeah, love it.
You're not going to make anything.
Love it.
So forget the 10%, 12%, 14%, up to a point, guys. I mean, start paying attention. But if you factor in when you're doing the Brrrr or you're doing a rehab, your money cost, your cost of buying the property, which you need to be doing.
If you get it cheap enough, it doesn't matter how much interest you pay because it's all factored in.
Exactly.
Right.
So as long as you're paying attention to the numbers, you factor in, hey, I've got $100,000 or $50,000 loan on a house that's going to be worth $120,000 in rehab, and it's going to cost me $5,000 for the money for whatever amount of time. Well, you're still going to make the $25,000, the $20,000. So get out there and borrow the money. The whole point of you, again, OPM, other people's money. That's a thing that's been around forever in like the first real estate courses. So don't be scared to borrow money if you've thought through the numbers, if you are looking at everything correctly. Again, if you know you've got a deal that you can buy and fix and either refinance and get all of your money back, or a deal that you can buy and fix and sell for a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 profit.
Yeah. Who cares if you're paying 5, 6, 7, even $10,000? Who cares if you paid $10,000 to a lender if you can go make 20 or 30?
Right.
You need him to be able to get into that situation in the first place.
So, and that bringing it back to wholesaling kind of is when you're trying to sell a deal and a buyer is going to pay you $5,000 to buy that contract, or if you flip them that deal, or $10,000. Why do they care? What business is it of theirs if you're selling them a smoking hot deal? It's not. Don't worry about paying the interest, guys.
Yeah,
it's a cost of doing business.
It's a cost of doing business.
We should add up the amount of interest that we spend last year.
Oh,
so we probably paid $100,000, $200,000 in interest.
That's okay though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had multiple millions of dollars in revenues,
and
it was worth it.
And we added 40 rentals, or maybe 30 last year. I don't know,
30,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that, 35.
Yeah. So again, get after it, borrow money, make money, keep playing the game, guys.
Yeah, and as you get better and better at this, it's just like the banking relationships. You want to build those relationships, and over time, the banks are going to get more and more lenient with you because they see that you are a professional, you know what you're doing, you are prepared, so on and so forth. So what I mean by that is the amount of seasoning over time will decrease, and so will your interest rates.
That's a really good point.
You start with the hard money lender at 14 to 16, then you go to a private lender from 8 to 14.
Exactly.
And then you get to a bank, and then they're anywhere from 4 to 7%.
Well, and here's a really kind of just something to think about is your family members, maybe the only people you know with money that you'd even be comfortable approaching. They may say no. Well, guess what? Then, like Dave mentioned, find a hard money lender. Hard money lender is going to be a little bit more expensive, probably 14, 15% when you add in back-end fees or points or whatever they call it. But you're able to do the deal. After you've got a track record of doing 1, 2, 3 deals, 5 deals, 10 deals, you can kind of approach your family like, "Hey, look what I did. I did this.
It makes it way easier to. I mean, this is the cool thing about this business is it truly snowballs. Once you start doing deals, you get confidence. You start doing more deals. Snowball, right? Mm-hmm. Once you start doing deals, you start cherry picking deals, and you start rehabbing those or keeping them for yourself. Snowballs. Once you start doing those and you're successful, you can then go to other banks and other lenders, and then they will start begging you for your business, right? Or they will start getting competitive and reaching out to you for your business because they see you're doing it elsewhere. Snowball. So that's the cool thing about this business is everything will get easier over time, and it will also snowball for you. So at this point, whenever we go get a property, most of the banks that work with us, they don't require a ton of seasoning. And if they do, it's 1 or maybe 2 months. But when we started, it was 6, right? So that got easier. Also now we have other bank salespeople reaching out on behalf of their bank saying, "Hey, I see you guys are doing a lot of deals over here. We would love to get a piece of that pie on those mortgages." And we say, "Great, here's what we're paying, here, can you beat it?" And sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. So it's always going to help. So keep going, guys. Don't fret. If the message here is don't fret if you are using a private lender or even a hard money lender in the beginning and you're paying 14% or 15% or even 16%. And we didn't even mention points at all in this episode. Sometimes we have to pay points on the front end and or the back end. And that's basically a whole interest rate, like a whole point, a whole percent, but it's paid up front or in the rears, but it's the whole year's worth of interest. So we like to avoid points because, again, if you calculate a 14% spread over a whole year and you only borrow that money for, let's say, 3 or 4 months, you're only paying, 40% of that 14, whereas a point is the whole year's worth of interest for each percent, right? 1%, 2%, 1 point, 2 point example. So that's kind of how that works. We like to avoid paying points, but if you're new and your hard money lender requires points, so what? Pay the points. The interest that's paid in the long run is going to be very minimal, and you are going to be able to acquire an asset like a piece of real estate that is going to be a lot more than you could ever afford with your own cash, right? So many reasons for using lenders, private lenders, hard money lenders in the beginning, and then working your way into lines of credit, which we didn't mention, but now we use our own personal lines of credit along with hard money and private lenders to purchase. Whenever you can build up some assets like rentals, you can then go borrow against the equity in there. Now you have a line of credit, and that rate is somewhere between 5 and 7%. So it's a little bit cheaper. So
more of that snowballing.
More of that snowballing, right?
Yeah, awesome.
You have more assets to then leverage and borrow against. Now, be careful. You don't want to over leverage yourself by any means. However, you have that ability to. And then the final game would be a bank, and the bank rates are going to basically be the cheapest, but it's going to be the biggest pain in the butt. Like dealing with the banks is going to take time. It's going to be a lot of paperwork, but you're going to get the best rate. So, you're going to have some pros and cons with any and all types of money. So go over to dpipodcast.com/funding. We're going to throw information in there on how you can access the free Savvy Leverage course. We usually charge like several $100s for this course, but we've just getting so many inquiries lately with people asking about, private funders and lenders. And I just figured, hey, it's a couple years old at this point, but the information is still the exact same that it was when we built it. So let's give it out for free. So we're going to give that out for free. And then we'll also have some information over at that link for you guys to find information about Fund and Grow. Fund and Grow is great. We used them in the beginning to buy houses on credit cards, and they offer 0% credit cards, which is awesome. I bought a 4-family one time, Mike, on credit cards.
I know, it's crazy.
And then I paid the credit cards
it's just
off
crazy
over
what you
like
can
5-6 months, and I still own that 4-family to this day. It pays me like $1,200 a month. It cash flows like crazy. So. Check it out, guys. Mike, anything you want to say before we sign off today?
No, thank you guys for listening. Truly appreciate it, and we look forward to talking with you guys again.
Awesome. Signing off, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.